car market didn't just cool off. It didn't just dip a little like most experts expected. What we're seeing right now is nothing less than a complete collapse of the automotive industry as we know it. Across America, millions of brand new vehicles are sitting unsold. Dealerships are drowning in costs. Manufacturers are shutting down plants, and millions of everyday car owners are about to discover their vehicles are worth far less than the loans they're stuck with. This isn't just another recession. This is the Great Automotive Reset. The question isn't if the industry will recover. The real question is whether you'll still have a financial future once the full devastation hits. And what we discovered about who's really behind this collapse will shock you. Right now, as you're watching this, more than 4.2 million vehicles are sitting unsold on dealer lots across America. These aren't just trucks or luxury cars. Even economy vehicles, the kind that used to fly off lots in a matter of hours, are now sitting untouched for months at a time. Take the Honda Civic, for example. 2 years ago, a Civic would sell in less than 24 hours. Today, some have been sitting for over 6 months without a single serious buyer. Dealerships are paying the price every single day. For each vehicle on the lot, dealers pay what's called floor plan interest. On average, that's $47 per car, per day. Multiply that by millions of vehicles, and you're looking at over $200 million bleeding out of dealer accounts daily. A dealer in Ohio named Sarah summed it up perfectly. She's been in the business for over 20 years, but she says nothing compares to the disaster she's living through right now. I've got $3.2 million in inventory that nobody wants. My floor plan interest is $4,800 per day. I'm not selling cars anymore. I'm managing a financial disaster that gets worse every morning I unlock the doors. And Sarah isn't alone. A Ford dealer in Texas said he's paying $11,639 every single day just to store unsold cars. That's nearly $350,000 a month. Money that doesn't go toward employees, marketing, or growth. Just interested. He hasn't made a profit in 8 months and his credit line is maxed out. But here's the thing. This isn't just a dealer's nightmare. Because what's happening to dealers is about to spill over into the lives of millions of car owners who have no idea how close they are to financial ruin. For years, people were told their cars would hold value better than ever. During the pandemic, used car prices soared, and many buyers actually made money flipping vehicles. That illusion is now dead. In the past 18 months, used car values have dropped by 23%. Wholesale values, what dealers pay at auctions, have fallen even harder, collapsing by 35%. Here's an example that will make your stomach turn. A 2021 Silverado that sold for $45,000 at auction last year now brings just $29,000. That's $16,000 in value that vanished into thin air. But retail prices haven't fully caught up yet. Dealers are still trying to sell those same trucks for $38,000, knowing they can only get $29,000 at auction. This gap between asking price and reality has created what insiders are calling a fantasy economy. And when that bubble bursts, millions of owners will be trapped. Take Jennifer from Arizona. She tried to trade in her 2021 Tahoe. She still owed $52,000. The dealer offered her $34,000. That's an $18,000 loss just to get out of the vehicle. She described it as feeling financially mugged, and she's not the only one. Across America, ordinary families are discovering they owe thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, more than their cars are worth. This is called negative equity, and it's spreading like wildfire. The result? Millions of people are stuck in cars they can't sell, can't trade, and can barely afford to keep. And that's where the avalanche really begins. Auto lending has gone from bad to terrifying. Before the pandemic, 85% of applicants were approved for loans. Today, that number has dropped to 62%. But it's not just approvals. Interest rates have exploded. Prime borrowers, people with good credit, are being quoted rates of 9 to 12%. 2 years ago, those same borrowers would have qualified for 2.9%. Subprime borrowers, they're being hit with rates as high as 25%. And here's the kicker. Even when people agree to those outrageous terms, lenders are rejecting loans on cars that are already losing value faster than the loan balance can shrink. In other words, banks are refusing to lend because they know the car will be worth less than the debt before the first payment is made. Repossession rates are skyrocketing, up 47% in just the past year. And these aren't old clunkers. Repo lots are now filling with brand new 2021 and 2022 models. A repo company owner in Texas put it bluntly, "People are abandoning newer, more expensive vehicles because the negative equity is so massive. I've never seen anything like it." Subprime lending is already collapsing. Default rates have hit 11.2%, the highest since 2009. But this time, there's no bailout coming. One subprime lender executive admitted, "We're not making new loans, period. Every loan we make loses money. We're in survival mode. And when financing disappears, dealers lose their most profitable revenue stream. Without financing, they're not just losing sales, they're losing their entire business model." But lenders aren't the only ones panicking. Because what comes next will shake the industry to its core. Behind the glossy press releases, America's biggest car makers are facing an existential crisis. General Motors has announced closures at 6 plants, cutting 18,000 workers. Ford is cutting production at 8 facilities and offering buyouts to 25,000 employees. Stellantis shut down its Belvidere assembly plant indefinitely, leaving 1,200 workers out of a job. And the cars they have built? They're sitting in overflow lots, collecting dust. Thousands of brand new vehicles are rotting in fields, while manufacturers pay storage fees and insurance. Some cars sit so long that they require reconditioning before they can even be sold. The EV bet, which was supposed to save the industry, is backfiring badly. Ford lost $4.7 billion on its EV division last year. GM's Ultium platform is struggling. Even Tesla is slashing prices just to move units. A Ford executive admitted, "We built capacity for 150,000 Lightnings per year. We're selling maybe 40,000. The demand isn't there, but we already spent billions on factories. Suppliers are going bankrupt." One Tier 1 supplier said his company laid off 40% of its workforce after orders evaporated by 60% in just 2 weeks. Without parts, entire assembly lines grind to a halt. The very system that made automakers efficient, just-in-time manufacturing, has now made them fragile. One missing component can shut down production for thousands of vehicles. But while factories close, a much bigger cultural shift is taking shape, one that could end car ownership altogether. For decades, cars represented freedom, status, and the American dream. But for younger generations, that dream is dead. Today, under 30 buyers consistently rank car ownership as their lowest financial priority. Instead of a $700 monthly payment, they'd rather spend on student loans, travel, entertainment, or even saving for a house. Remote work eliminated daily commutes for millions. Cities are discouraging car use with higher parking costs and more public transit. And subscription services are making pay-to-use mobility more appealing than outright ownership. As one financial advisor explained, cars are no longer a goal. They're seen as a necessary evil, something you avoid if you can. This generational rejection of car ownership is accelerating faster than anyone predicted. And when combined with unsold inventory, collapsing values, and a frozen lending market, it's creating the perfect storm. All these forces are converging into what analysts are calling the Great Automotive Reset. Within the next 18 months, industry experts predict that 30 to 40% of dealerships will close permanently. These aren't just mom-and-pop shops. These are large, decades-old franchises in major cities. Dealer closures are already happening at a rate of 15 to 20 per week nationwide. And when they go under, their inventory floods the wholesale market at fire sale prices, further crushing values. The surviving dealers will look nothing like what we're used to. Instead of massive lots with hundreds of vehicles ready to drive away, you'll see small showrooms, custom orders, and service-only models. The days of driving off the lot the same day may be over forever. If you own a car right now, understand this: its value will continue to fall. If you're thinking of buying one, wait. Prices have much further to drop. And if you're wondering what comes next, the answer might surprise you. For over a century, car ownership was sold as the cornerstone of the American dream. But what happens when that dream becomes a financial nightmare? The collapse we're watching isn't just about cars. It's about how Americans live, work, and move. From ride-sharing to subscriptions, from public transit to remote work, the way we think about transportation is being rewritten in real time. Within the wreckage of this collapse, a new system will emerge. But it won't look like the car industry of the past 100 years. The only question is, will you be ready when it arrives? The car market didn't just burst, It exploded, and from the ruins, a completely different future is being built. Stay informed, stay prepared, and make sure you don't get caught on the wrong side of history.